Hi guys, another instalment of A Danger Gang today. Now we are on to the chapter of August. So in the last chapter, the gang went to the water park, and while they were there, they got shrunk down to miniature size, but it was good because Katie got to go on all the rides. So let's find out what happens today. August. Dear Danny, summer holidays are well and truly underway in Freaky. The weather has been hot, the sun has been very sunny, and I have to say, I'm kind of missing school. Wait, did I actually just write that? I have to lie down for a moment. I'll carry on writing once I've confirmed that my mind hasn't been taken over by one of my mum's inventions designed to turn me into a super nerd. I'm back, and I can't find any evidence of my mind having been tampered with, so I guess I genuinely do miss school a little bit. If you tell anyone I said that, I swear I'll tell your sister about that time you used her super expensive shampoo and panicked because you thought she'd noticed the bottle was half empty, so you've refilled it with another bottle you found in the bathroom cupboard that looked similar but turned out to be blue hair dye. Her blue hair was blue all summer, and she never did find out why. I knew I shouldn't laugh, but like I was saying, it's hot in Freaky. There's a hosepipe ban because it hasn't rained for 3 weeks, so Eric is safely in human mode at the moment. I haven't seen Molly much since school finished, but I think that's because she went on holiday to France with her mum and dad for a few weeks, rather than she turned invisible. She did get back a couple of days ago though, so I guess she could be standing right next to me reading over my shoulder right now, and I would never know, or right next to you for that matter. Every night I see Charlie sneak out of his back door with a bag of sweet and salty hamster transforming popcorn in his hand, and Mr. Fluffles, the giant hamster on a lead. Yes, through our treehouse investigations, we learned that it's sweet and salty popcorn that makes Mr. Fluffles change from a regular furball to a hamster Hulk. Sweet or salty on their own just make him do eye-watering hamster stuff. They go for a walk up and down our street. I know this because Mr. Fluffles leaves a trail of, poo, and you don't want to be stepping on that. So my summer holidays has been pretty normal compared to all the stuff that happened since moving to Freaky. I've had absolutely nothing to write about to tell you until yesterday. I was coming home from the shop. I went to get an ice cream. Yes, it was a nut cruncher, still my favourite. When I spotted Ronnie crouching behind Eric's wall with a bucket of water balloons. Now, this wasn't a surprise. Ronnie has been camped out like this most days since the start of summer holidays, waiting for the perfect moment to lob a balloon at Eric's who turns into a shark. There's no surprise either. No matter how many times we see Eric transform, it never gets boring. Plus, Ronnie does love a good prank. I mean, who doesn't? Ding! That gave me an idea, a bad idea, a great idea. With Ronnie's attention focused on Eric's window, it should be so easy to sneak up on him, slip a water balloon out of his bucket and splat it right on his head. Oh, that would be so satisfying. He would never see that coming. But you can't do that, Frankie, I thought to myself. Yes, you can, said another little voice in my head. You can't. Ronnie would bosh you on the nose. Yes, he's a tiny bit less of a pain in the bum than he used to be, but he's still Ronnie Nutbolt, said the first voice, the sensible voice. Only if you get caught. The second voice had a good point. What if I did it and ran away super fast? You know that I'm a good runner, and you don't even think about saying that you're fast, Danny. You beat me once, and I had a Veruca, and it really slowed me down. Well, no prizes for guessing what my voice listened to. I'm a member of the Danger Gang after all. I gulped down the last of my nut cruncher, tiptoed into the closest tree and peered around for my target, who was still hiding behind the wall, looking at Eric's window. It was too easy. I crept over as quiet as Danger Gang on a super secret spy mission and slipped a big water balloon out of the top of Ronnie's bucket. It felt heavy in my hands, and as it glistened in the sunshine, I thought of a mysterious green shimmer across its surface, like it was full of magic ready to burst. I took aim and launched it at the back of Ronnie's shaved head. Splat! Direct hit. The balloon burst and released what looked like an ocean of freezing water all over his head. In the excitement, I nearly forgot to run away. I quickly turned and started to leg it as fast as I could back to my hiding place behind the nearest tree. My heart was pounding. So hard I could see it in my t-shirt jumping up and down. When I peeked around the trunk, I saw Ronnie wiping the water from his face and looking around for whoever threw the balloon. After a few seconds, he shrugged, crouched back down by his bucket and continued to wait for Eric. Haha, that got him, I thought to myself, and I was about to go home when something caught my eye. The front door of number 23 was opening just a creak. Katie peered through it and then shot outside in a flash with a great big mischievous grin on my face. I stayed hidden and watched her sneak up behind Ronnie, just as I had done. Slowly and quietly she pinched a water balloon from the bucket, took aim and splashed it right over his head. She must have seen me doing it and thought, great idea. Katie might be small, but all of that gymnastics practice means she can move really fast. She leapt back over the garden wall and ducked down flat before Ronnie could dry his eyes. "Whoever did that is dead meat," he growled. Well, I was about to go home again, and then another splash. I turned around to look at Susie dive into a bush, and Ronnie covered in another of his exploded balloons. Then came Charlie, splash. Even sweet little Molly popped out for a throw. She was invisible, of course, so Ronnie had no chance of seeing her coming. Splash. Then Jamelia took aim too. Splash. It was a total wipeout. Splash, splat, splosh. We all giggled from our hiding spots as a dripping wet Ronnie lay to feast on the ground. That's when it happened. The freakiest thing I've ever seen since moving into this town. Ronnie Nutbolt started to cry. I mean, forget sharks in school pool and giant hamsters. This was truly bizarre. We all emerged from our hiding places and glanced around at each other. I didn't know what to do. None of us did. Ronnie was the toughest kid in the whole school. None of us had seen him cry before. One by one, we slowly went back over to him. "Sorry, mate, it was just a joke," I said, giving him a little nudge. But he was carrying on sobbing. "Yeah, we didn't mean it," added Katie, biting her lip. "You do stuff like this all the time, Ronnie. We just thought we'd give you a taste of your own medicine," said Charlie. But that just made Ronnie cry even louder. "Shh," said Jamelia, looking around. "If a grown-up hears you crying, then we'll all be in deep doo-doo." Ah. We all thought at exactly the same time. Getting us into trouble was exactly what Ronnie was trying to do. There was no way he was really crying over a little bit of water on the hottest day of the year. Looking at the soaked grass was like looking at a crime scene. The victim, Ronnie Nutbolt, lay in the middle. Around him were 6 guilty assailants: Katie, Susie, Charlie, Molly, Jamelia and me. "I'm not pretending, they hurt," Ronnie wailed dramatically. But I was watching him closely and made out the tiny glimmer of a smile. The cheeky so-and-so was pretending. And the more he pretended to cry, the more his tears became real. You know that feeling when you pretend something so hard that it becomes real? That's what Ronnie was doing. "Keep it down or we'll be grounded for this," I hissed. "Stop being a baby," Susie snapped. Ronnie stopped crying suddenly. "Phew! What did you call me?" he sniffed. "A baby," said Susie, "because you are a great big baby." Ronnie just stared at her, and he didn't look too great. His freckly face had gone pale. He was going to be sick or something. "Ronnie, are you okay?" I asked. But instead of answering me with words, Ronnie looked in my eyes and said, "Goo goo gaga," in the most convincing baby voice I've ever heard. Then Katie let out a scream. We all gasped and took a hasty step back, because what was happening was truly crazy. We'll have to find out what was happening to Ronnie in our next instalment of Danger Gang. See you later, guys.